In today's machine learning video, we're going to be covering the Elastic Net Regression. I'm going to teach you a little bit of the theory behind it before we start coding this in Jupyter Notebook within Python and the help of the scikit-learn library. So if you're trying to improve your data science skills or machine learning, this is the video for you. Now let's go over a little bit of the theory on the Elastic Net Regression. Now I've covered two parts of the Elastic Net Regression already here on the channel, which is going to be both your Lasso and also your ridge regressions. Your Lasso, you might heard of L1 optimization, and then your ridge is going to be something called an L2. With your Lasso, you're going to have values that are going to be closer to 0 for coefficients on features that don't really matter, and then your ridge is just going to lower them specifically. Well, the Elastic Net is going to combine essentially both of these models, and just like the other ones, this helps with the problem of overfitting, which is when you tend to have too many features in your training data set and your test data set doesn't perform as well. Now, here's a really cool thing. We can have a mixture of between our L1 and also our L2. And this is going to be controlled by two different parameters, which are going to be your alpha and then also your L1 ratio. But you're in luck because I will be showing you how to use this with the hyperparameter tuning in the video. All right, hopefully that was enough of the theory. Let's get coding in our Jupyter Notebook. All right, let's get going. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to import in pandas as PD. And I'm in Jupyter Notebook. Anytime I do Shift Enter, it runs the cell above and creates a new one down below, a little keyboard shortcut for you. Then we're going to import in Seaborn. So Seaborn as SNS. Boom. Now that is going to be imported in over here. The reason why I'm going to be using Seaborn is it has a lot of data sets, and that way we can use some examples of real world data. I like making mock data, but a few people have asked for me to use more real data sets. So this is for you. And then we're going to put SNS.get data set underscore names like this. And you can see all the different Seaborn data sets. Now for this video, I'm going to be using a data set called tips. I do believe I have used this in a video. Maybe it was my Seaborn tutorial video where I showed a bunch of different graphs. But we're going to say tips equals SNS.load underscore data set. And then we're going to throw tips in here as well like this. And then again, runs a cell. And now we have our tips in here. Now we can just put tips like this and you can see a lot of the information that is going on. We have 244 rows and 7 columns. We have total bill, tip, sex, smoker, day, time, and also size. So let's think about what's going to happen specifically with our features and target. So obviously our tip is going to be our target with everything else being a feature. So let's implement that in. The other thing that I should mention is we're going to have to change some of this data. So we have categorical data over here. For example, we have sex, we have smoker, we have day, and also time. So we're going to have to be able to create either so we have 3 pretty quick options that we could use to change this data up. You could use like a one-hot encoder. You could use an ordinal encoder. I'm going to do the lazy route and just use pd.getDummies, which is from the pandas library. And essentially this is going to create new columns for all the different results over here. So we'll have 2 columns for sex, 2 columns for smoker, days. I don't believe this data set is all 7 days, but I can't remember correctly. And then time, I think this is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I could do a lot more research within this data set, but the video is going to be on Elastic Net, not necessarily the data set itself. So to show you how I can do this really easily, what we're going to say is tips equals, and then you do just pd.getDummies, and then just throw in tips inside over here, right? And now this has been created. And just to show you again, I'm just going to put a head this time. Another way we can show this, right? So sex, male, female, smoker, yes, no, day. Like I said, it wasn't all days, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it only has lunch and dinner. So we're skipping breakfast on that side of things. So this is what our data is going to look like. Now we're going to have to split this data up between our X and also our Y, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, right? Our Y is going to be the tip. X is going to be everything else over here. Pretty simple to do. I'm also going to build out a few new cells. So all we have to do over here is X equals tips.drop. Then you put in here over here tip, and then you can do axis equals 1, right? So axis equals 1, and that's going to drop our tip column, and it's going to keep everything else the same. Now for our Y variable, we can essentially just put over here tips and then just put in tip, right? Because that's essentially what we were going to be going after. And we have our X and Y. And again, always do capital X over here. All right, great. So we can continue to move forward with this. We're now going to do something called train test split. So we're going to split up our data. I like doing 80% training, 20% for testing, just like it's a standardized. Again, you can change it to however you want, and then you also set a random state. But let's import this in. So it's from scikit-learn.model selection. So put that in here. We're going to import in train test split. Boom, we have that in here. And now we can do our x train, x test, y train, y test equals train test split, put x, put y, put our test size, which we'll say test size equals 0.2, as I mentioned, and then we can set a random state. And I've been doing a lot of 19 random states, so we're just going to continue to do that. And we're going to say equal to 19, but feel free to put what you want. If you put 19, you're going to get the same results that I do. So easy way to do that. Now, one other thing we're going to have to do for our data, a little annoying, but we're going to have to scale it. So I already showed that in Ridge and also Lasso, and I have a full video on standard scaler if you do want to learn a little bit about that, but I'll show you also what the results look like after we scale it. So from sklearn.preprocessing, import in standard scaler, right? Then we can set over here, we can say our scaler is going to be equal to standard scaler. Usually just copy and paste, but this time we typed all of that out. So now we're going to have to scale our xtrain and xtest. So xtrain equals scaler, and we're going to do a fit transform because it's still pre-processing. So fit transform, and then put in over here your xtrain, run that, and then I'm going to just copy this and I'll paste it down below, and we're going to put test. Again, super important to scale your data when you're specifically working with your Elastic Net. So, all right, we have our xtrain and xtest, and that's if you want the best results. You can still technically run it without scaled data. All right, so we have that over here. Now we can import in our Elastic Net. We have our x, we have our y, we have xtrain, right? Xtest, ytrain, ytest showed over there, and we scaled our data. So let's import this in, and it's going to be in under linear models. So from sklearn.linear model, import Elastic Net. Now, one thing to know is you're not going to memorize where all these things are from sklearn until you use it quite a lot. You start figuring it out over time, but again, just look up the sklearn documentation. You can specifically see where things are. And if you want to learn even more about the Elastic Net, right, I can just go over here and just say sklearn Elastic Net, right? And go over here. And I recommend it, like, after watching this tutorial, just take a look really quick over here and read more about it. You might not understand how all of this works, but it's good to get used to at least the scikit-learn documentation, right? And it shows you over here, sklearn.linearmodel.elasticnet. So that's how we import this in over here. So pretty basic. Now, what we're going to specifically do is we're going to call this with no parameters. We will be doing some hyperparameter tuning towards the end. So that way you can see like a very basic version and then a little bit scaled up. And we'll see even more of this in other videos as well if we do some like voting regressors or we do some models stacking. So just know that in general, I try to do a very basic version and then do a little bit more advanced with hyperparameter tuning. And I think that's a good method, at least to kind of learn how these models specifically work, at least on an elementary level. So we have Elastic Net imported over here. So now let's call it. So we're going to say Elastic Net equals, and then I want to be lazy. We're going to just copy that over here, and boom, we have our Elastic Net. Now we're going to have to fit our data. Again, we did a fit transform, but this is from pre-processing. We're going to have to fit our data to Elastic Net. It's going to be different because we're doing xtrain and also ytrain at this time. So just copy this over here or type it out. Then you just put over here .fit, not IFT, but fit, put xtrain, and then also put ytrain. And this is going to fit our training data set, which is awesome. Now, what I would recommend that you do is you create a y prediction. So we can just do y pred equals, and we'll do elastic net.predict. And then all you have to put on here this time is our test. The reason why we're putting X test is we're taking a look specifically at how the Y test performs to this Y prediction. And I'm just going to use 3 basic metrics. I've done them in all the other regression videos as well. So the way that you import these in is you can say from sklearn.metrics. And again, something that you should study and look over because there's a ton of metrics. And depending on what problem you're trying to solve, or if you're in a competition, the metrics are going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to use a mean absolute error. I'm going to use a mean squared error. And then I'm also going to use the R2 score, which you don't need specifically scikit-learn metrics to find an R2 score, but I prefer that at least from my side of things. And again, keep it super basic. I'm just going to put over here mean absolute error, and I'm going to fill this in a second, guys. We'll put our mean squared error, and we'll put also our R2 score. Now on the inside of this, we're going to have two different things. We're going to have our Y test, right? And then we're going to put our Y prediction. We want to see how well these perform. And we run this over here and we get a 1.214. So you can just copy this. We'll paste this over here, right? Oops. And 2.899. And lastly, we're going to do our R2 score. Just copy and paste that down below. And 0.14. So like, this isn't the best model, right? 0.14 is a pretty horrible R2 score. Now, the mean absolute error and mean square error, these could be very high or could be low, just depending on how specific the data is in general. And the tip amount is kind of low over here in general. I don't know specifically all the different tips, right? I just put a head over here, and I guess I could take a look over here too. I mean, I see a 6. And there's other things that we could take a look at, like an EDA of the data. I'm not going to do that in this video, but these do seem high as well. So let's see how well we perform once we do a hyperparameter tuning, and we're going to have to first build out a parameter grid. Now, there's two parameters that I like to use when I use Elastic Net, and those are going to be both alpha and then also our L1 ratio. And those are going to allow us to pretty much tweak our L1 and also our L2 in general. So let's set those up. We're going to have our param grid like this. We're going to see that's equal to, and also to mention, like, and our alpha value is really important when we work on Ridge and also Lasso. You can see some huge improvements by using the correct value. So really important, at least like with this model, to do some hyperparameter tuning. And again, if you want to see defaults, right, you can go over here. Alpha default 1 and L1 ratio is default 0.5. So that's what was used when we put no specific parameters in here. So let's start building this out. So first thing I'm going to do is alpha here at the top, and let's put in our specific values. I'll do like 0.1. We'll say 0.3. We'll have 0.5, 0.7, 0.9, and we'll do 1.0. Okay, comma here at the end, and then we're going to build out our next one, which is going to be our L1 ratio. Now, our ratio is going to go also from 0 to 1. I am just going to copy specifically what is in our alpha value. So a nice little copy and paste job over here. And you can be lazy with that because I'm going to keep this the same. And shift and enter, we're going to have our parameter grid. Now, we're not done yet because we're going to have to do something called a grid search CV. That's my method of some hyperparameter tuning. I know there's a lot of different methods out there, and there's still a lot of stuff that I have to explore, and maybe we'll do that in another video in the future after I finish this regression series. But let's build this in. So we're going to say from scikit-learn.model selection imports, and we'll put in grid search CV. Okay, now we have our grid search CV built in. So I always just have it like this. I'll show you. So I put underscore and I put a CV at the end. That's how I stay organized. Feel free to use whatever you want. We're going to put grid search CV. Now, the first thing that we're going to have to do is put in our model. I believe we put in Elastic Net over here. So we can just put Elastic Net. We'll put a comma. And then we're going to have to put in our parameter grid, which I always just name it as param grid like this. Now you're going to have to do your cross validation. I'm just going to say we're going to do a cross validation of 3. And then you can put whatever scoring method that you would like in here. I also put n jobs. So I'm going to say n, well, actually first, let me put the scoring method in here. So we're going to say scoring equals, and I like to use something called neg mean squared error. And you can get your mean squared error from this as well if you really want to. I'm just going to continue to use what I have over here from scikit-learn metrics. And lastly, if you want to speed this up, you can just do n jobs equals -1. Shift and enter, and now we have that. This will run really fast, but now we have to fit our data once again, because this is going to be technically a different model, right? So this is going to run the cross validation 3 times, and we're going to take a look at each specifically of these parameters. So just to show you how many times this actually works, we're going to take 3 over here. We're going to times it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're already looking at 18, and then we're going to times it by 6 once again. So quick math on that, 60 plus 48. We're going to have this run 108 specific times. So let's do that. So we're going to say dot fit and x train and also y train. Now this might take a minute or so. So if it does, I'm just going to fast forward into the future and shift enter. Let's see how it does. And a little over 2 seconds later, this ended up running, which is actually pretty nice. So we have our data over here. Let's make another y prediction. You can be lazy and copy this over here. You should probably change your y prediction over here to like y prediction 2. Honestly, it doesn't matter too much to me. And there's one other thing I have to change before I actually run this. Let's put elastic cv.predict. So we have y prediction 2 equals elastic underscore cv.predict with our x test over here. And great. So now we can just copy these 3. And I don't think I copied that one. And we'll make a few different modifications. So just copy and paste. And if you're faster typing, do that. But I just would rather copy and paste. So ypred2, and also ypred2. So let's see how well this performs. Again, we're trying to find a lower number for our mean absolute error and mean squared error with a higher number for R2 score closer to 1. That tells us if we have a better specific model. And I'm predicting that we should in this instance. So shift enter 0.94 compared to 1.21. So a decent improvement right there. Then we're looking at 1.9 and compared to 2.8. Again, I think our R2 score is going to go up, and we have a 0.43. So R2 score, I'm not gonna lie, it's still pretty bad, but 0.43 in comparison to what? We had a 0.14. That is a big improvement by just using a parameter grid. So anytime you're working on a model, I highly suggest you take a look at a parameter grid. There's a few different methods you could take. You could take a look at the scikit-learn documentation. You could even use ChatGPT and ask it to build out a parameter grid. I've done that a lot of times. Builds it out for you, and then you can tweak it to how specifically you want. All right, and a few other quick minor things. So if you want to see specifically how this worked, you can just go over here, Elastic CV, and then you can do something called .best estimator. And you can see our best was when we had an alpha of 0.1 and also our L1 ratio of 0.1. So I hope you guys learned something new about Elastic Net Regressions. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel. This is going to allow the YouTube algorithm to push this content to other people that are going to either be learning data science or getting their feet wet a little bit within machine learning. Again, these videos are 100% for free, but they do take a bit of effort to make. Now, if you want to learn even more about machine learning, I have a full playlist right over here, and I'm continuing to add to it every single week. At least 2 to 3 videos and 1 project every single month.